We've got their head coach, Travis Cox, joining us now. Coach, thanks for taking some time for us. I know it's a busy time of the year for you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to talk some football.
Coach, first of all, this was a team that relied on some younger players to really step up and play big roles last year. Not to discount some of those seniors that did great things for you last year too, but there's a lot of key players coming back for this team this year, and a lot of people are looking at Ridgeline as perhaps not just the best team in Region 11, but perhaps one of the best teams in 4A. How do you handle that, and how do you prepare your team to handle that kind of attention and pressure that comes with those expectations?
Well, I mean, this group of kids have been around for a long time, a lot of them since they're about 8 years old, and they've always been a pretty successful group, and they've always handled pressure well. A lot of them played when they were sophomores, so they've been playing at the varsity level for quite some time, so they're a really confident group. They're not very loud or anything like that. They just kind of do their work. So it's good. It's good when it is a pressure environment because they typically don't get too high or too low. So they are an extremely confident group, and they have really high expectations. So whenever that is the case, you know you're not going to sneak up on anyone, and I think they know that.
Speaking of high expectations, I'm sure you have that for your quarterback, Caden, who comes into this year with a lot of eyes on him, not just around 4A, but around the entire state of Utah. What are some of the things that you want to see him improve upon going into the season?
As kind of a senior quarterback, you've kind of been there, done that. So it's just mainly the leadership role is a huge role. I thought we had great leadership last year from our seniors, and I think that's what we're hoping for him. And then every time you play quarterback, you got to make sure you take care of the ball and you stay on schedule. And it's always with him is he can run around and make plays, but I just seen him get it to our guys and let them make plays and make sure we just keep kind of plugging away and don't get ourselves into trouble. But more or less just kind of be him and not be anything that he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to go out and prove to anyone anything. He just needs to play his game and, improve and basically take just that next step as a senior quarterback.
Coach, with a lot of experience coming back for Ridgeline on the offensive side, I think it's a lot of expectations. Could be a team that could do a lot and have a lot of fun offensively. But what does the defensive unit look like for your team this year? And because there were some great players that graduated and left. How are they being replaced so far?
I mean, I feel like we lost some really, really talented players on defense last year, and so we've got a few kids coming back, Will Booth and Jackson Hollingsworth, who were playing kind of our linebacker spot last year. We're going to expect a lot from them. I think, D-line, we have our nose guard Curtis back, who's going to help us a lot, just kind of anchor that group. And then after that, we need to figure that out. And, I think some of the newer kids have had great summers and have super high expectations, but never really know until you snap the ball and it's real. So they've done everything you could ask for, in an off season, hard work, lifting, and knowing our defense. But we're anxious to get on the field and kind of see where we're at, and then kind of go from there. But at the end of the day, it's defense is all about team defense and making sure we all do our job. So it doesn't really rely on one person or two people. It's all of us working as one. So that's kind of what we got to do.
Coach, I know you had your time at Mountain Crest High School as a 4-year starter at quarterback for Mountain Crest Mustangs. And back then, the regional alignment was a lot different. Now, in 4A, as weird as this sounds, there's only 2 regions in 4A, St. George and Northern Utah. What are your thoughts on that? Yep. Do you like it? Do you agree with it? Would you like to see it move back to an old format?
Oh, yeah, I don't love it. I wish we had more teams. But it is what it is, and the only thing is we tried to go out and get as hard a schedule as we could and play some of the 5A schools. Not that it really matters at the end of the day, but we wanted to try to push ourselves, and then, obviously that will prepare us for 4A. But yeah, anytime, I mean, you want to try to have as many of the best teams you can. in 4A and kind of go through that gauntlet in the playoffs. But I do think, though, the northern end and the southern regions are extremely, extremely good. So if you win it all, I don't think it's a downer at all. You deserve to be called a champion, and there's no. I don't think I wouldn't look at it any different than you're a true 4A champion. But I do, I wish there was some more teams for sure.
And then last year you ended kind of on a sour note, a loss to Skyview via a shutout, but you lost your quarterback early in the game. How much of it, of these kids' mindset, is on vengeance and getting that revenge with the sour taste from last year, and how much of it is, it's a new year, it's a new team, it's a new format in the 4A class? Like, how do you balance that?
It was more than just losing our quarterback. We didn't really have anyone we lost 3 starting offensive linemen. We didn't have our offensive coordinator, a line coach. We lost everyone to COVID. So that was a rough couple days. Not sure we probably should have even played the game. It was one of those things where we thought about, but I couldn't not play it for the seniors. And as hard as it was to lose, some of the experiences we had and some of what the kids did to kind of just not think about themselves, but think about the team and, go from receiver to offensive tackle. And that type of stuff was kind of cool to watch, even though we didn't come out on the right end. It was an experience that you'd probably never forget. The kids will never forget, but it also left a pretty bad taste in our mouth because, we thought we matched up very well with Skyview. Played him tough, and the first time we played him, and we felt like we had a good trajectory, and we just didn't get to show our true self that game. So we're definitely looking forward to kind of redeeming ourselves, and we're going to play for some of those seniors or for all of the seniors that played last year, because this will be a lot to do with them, our success this year.
We're talking to Travis Cox. He's the head coach of the Ridgeline Riverhawks, and you mentioned you brought up the schedule. You open up at Bonneville, you host Stansbury, you've got Snow Canyon coming up here, and then you travel down to Woods Cross. So it's a mix of some 5A schools. Not to be left out, you host Box Elder at the end of the year. So you've got a mix of some 5A schools. You got a Region 9 team coming to play you, and you're just generally your philosophy about putting together your non-region schedule. What's an ideal non-region schedule for you when you've put it together?
Well, this is my first time ever really having to put together a schedule. And to be honest, I was just trying to find games. Obviously, you want to find games that are going to challenge your team and get you ready for region play. We have a really good region, so you want to play different types of schools that do different things. We played Pineview for 2 years and really got to see good pass game. This year, I wanted to make sure we played 5A schools that were decent. Bonneville won their region. Stansbury, I think, won the region last year. So I really wanted to go out and try to schedule tough teams so that, in the back of your mind, I hope Stansbury and Bonneville do really well, because to know that we can play with some of the best. I went out of my way to try to have a challenging schedule for sure.
Maybe you're too young to play this game, but how much of that also played in your mind with RPI and how that's affecting your potential postseason and how that could work?
RPI to me is, I don't like it, because last year we go beat Pineview. The only loss we had was Skyview by 3, and we still were 4th, which makes no sense to me. And so I don't even care about the RPI, because you can't even. To me, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to go try to play the game I get scheduled and try to win the game, because last year it didn't help us at all to play Pineview. That's still we ended kind of a weird way, but that didn't make me feel any better either with how we got seated.
So do you, if I can kind of piggyback off that great question, can you or do you want to maybe schedule lower class teams, go pick up wins in a dominating fashion, yet play different styles? Is that possible, or are you still, hey, we got to go play?
No, I would never do that. I would rather play. I think it's funner for the kids have a challenge. I, as a coach, like to have a challenge. I would never play teams that I know I can beat for sure. I would rather have a challenge. And if we lose, who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to win 4 games at the end of the year to get to the finals and win it. So with everyone getting in, it's not like you can't get in. Everyone's playing in the playoffs. So really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you could play. I mean, I wouldn't put our team in harm's way, but I would try to play as many hard games as I could.
I love that mentality.
I do too.
I do.
Love
That's
that.
awesome mentality. Coach, I got to ask, Region 11 is usually bashed on for not being a very competitive region, with the exception of you and Skyview being the cream of the crop for the last couple of years. Can you give me your thoughts on this Region 11 this year and what you expect out of it?
You know, I think over the years, Mountain Crest has been as good as anyone. So they might have been down the last couple, but I mean, they're never going to lay down. I think Green Canyon's had some pretty good teams over the last couple of years. So I think I'd put our region up against most regions most years. Quite frankly, I think we're ever been as good as the South region because we've never lost to Pineview since my kid's been playing. So, and I don't look at our region as lesser than their region. But they have a good region. We have a good region. I think Logan's got a really good team this year. And Bear River is always tough. So I don't think there's really an easy game in our region. I think there's some things left to be, I know Skyview's got a lot of new guys. I know Mount Crest's you never know till you start playing how it's going to be. But over the years, I think we got some really solid teams and really competitive region, and it's really fun to play. And I love the close proximity, and I think the atmosphere that we have up here is as good as anywhere in the state as far as playing region games.
Coach, last question from me. You've got a week and a half for your first game.
Yep.
What are the biggest strides you need to see out of your team in that time?
Definitely consistency. Offensively, I think we've got to be a little more consistent. And then defensively, as we kind of go through camp, we got to make sure we stay physical or get more physical. Right now, I think we could play a little more physical. So those are the areas that we're working on right now, and it's fun to be able to have these kids 2 times a day. So we have a long ways to go. That's for sure. So, but I like where we're at.
Hey, I just got a text from somebody. They were hoping to ask you, and this is my final question. How's your pops doing, though? Coach Cox Sr., how's he doing? Where's he at? What's he up to?
He's actually living in St. George right now. They're retired, so they're living in the nice hot weather right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he's like in St. George. He's the head coach of Snow Canyon now, and he's getting ready to prep to beat you. I thought something like that was going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, that would be interesting, right?
Hey, Coach, we thank you so much for your time, man. It's great to hear your voice. Look forward to seeing you out in the football field here in about a week and a half, and wish you the best for you and your team to stay healthy.
All right, yeah, thanks, guys, and for all that you guys do, and the promotion that you give high school sports is great. So appreciate it.
All right, thanks,
Absolutely.
Coach.
Thanks, Coach.